All right, so thank you so much for coming. My name is Sherjan Husainie. Like they said, I was born in Pakistan, raised in Canada, grew up more recently in California, and 3 weeks ago, moved to this beautiful city of Hong Kong. And from an aspect of education, I did aerospace engineering in undergrad. And for master's, I did financial engineering. From an aspect of work, I started at a chicken restaurant, not KFC. Then moved to being a security guard, then an engineer, a consultant, an investment banker, and more recently, in private equity. So my diversity is not related to my name, where I come from, who I call God, what languages I speak, or where I call home. My diversity is related to the experience that I've had, the lessons that I've learned, and the path that I've taken. And to me, that is what I want to share with you all, and that's what I call diversity of experience. So the first point I want to mention is this, brands. When you think about people today, we all kind of achieve or try to achieve certain brands. They could be from an aspect of education. Hey, I really want to go to a certain school. It could be from the aspect of, hey, I really want to work at this one firm, or I really want that Gucci t-shirt, or whatever it is, right? So there's brands that are part of our lives, and we really like to achieve them. But not everybody has the solution to achieving those brands. And when you see people who have achieved certain brands, it's very quick to kind of summarize that and be like, oh, that person must be successful because he or she works at this firm. Or that person must be really smart or has a great life because they've gone to this one school. But you don't really know the background of these people. What's important is to peel back a few layers, and what you'll realize is not all of them have been privileged with amazing backgrounds. A lot of them actually had a lot of hurdles and struggles that they kind of navigated around. They diversified their approach a little bit to get to where they are today. So let me give you one example of my own. So I started, currently where I work is called Morgan Stanley in the investment banking division. Before this, I was at Google in private equity. So if I pause there and I say, hey, what do you guys think? A lot of people will be like, oh, those are good brands. You must have a very successful path, and you've been lucky all around, and everything worked out, and life is good. The only thing true about all that is life is good, but it wasn't that easy, right? Now let me give you another set of facts. What if I told you that I graduated undergrad, rank 180th in my class? Not first, not second, a stellar 180th, right? At the same time, my GPA in undergrad was 3.0, not 4.0. And those of you who are wondering, 3.0 is not good. So if you have that, start working, right? And lastly, I graduated in 2009, which was the downturn of the economy. There was not a lot of jobs in the street, and the jobs that I wanted weren't available to me. So now you have two scenarios. One is like, hey, these are good brands that I work at now, but before that, I had a lot of bottlenecks and hurdles that I had to kind of bridge. And this bridge is possible only from my angle through these couple of life lessons that I've learned along the way, which I call diversity of experience. So the first one I want to mention today is the whole aspect of learning, right? Since birth, we've been kind of, we start learning things as we grow up. You know what's right, what's wrong. If you, let's just say, play with fire, you get hurt, you move on. If you do something right, you replicate that. Right? And you keep on doing that, and over time in life, you acquire all of these experiences. And that's what your life is about, and it's a single life. It's a one-way street. But unfortunately, you only get one chance, right? At every crossroad in life, you will get one chance. You could take many options. Like today, you could have chosen to come here, not come here, go to LKF, do all these other things, but you decided to come here. So there's one chance, one path you took. But at the same time, you don't know all the other paths. Similarly, when you're approaching your goals in life, let's just say you really want to work at that one firm, you don't really know the solution of it. You don't know exactly how am I going to get there, how am I going to break from here to that edge. And the only way to do it is, by just living by your life. But there's another thing that's interesting is that whatever you're doing today, I can guarantee you someone is already doing it, or someone has done it in the past. So to this day, there's been 100 billion plus humans that have lived and died on this planet. 100 billion. And when you think about that, someone is out there who has already experienced what you're experiencing today. No matter what hurdle is, no matter what struggle is, or no matter what goal you have, someone has already experienced that. So when you think about that, the best way to kind of add more experience to your life rather than just one experience is to start learning from other people. And there's amazing people all around you. In this auditorium alone, I can guarantee that each and every one of you has a different life. Yes, right now you guys are all in Hong Kong, but there is a different background to each and every one of you. So what I do is every week I have a goal, meet one new person, every week. Doesn't matter who they are. It could be the security guard in my building, to my best friend, to my managing director. Meet them, spend some time with them, and learn from their experiences. Over time, what's going to happen is you're going to start accumulating these diverse experiences, And instead of living one life, you live multiple lives, and multiple experiences will be accumulated into your own experiences. But it doesn't stop there. Learning is not just a one-way street. Most people make it a one-way street. They're like, oh, I'm just going to learn everything. I'm going to get to my dream job, and then I'm going to move on and die, right? And that's not cool. Right? So what you need to do is when you learn all this stuff, you need to go and help other people diversify as well. Maybe your best friend doesn't have the solution for getting to that next spot in his life. Or maybe your girlfriend doesn't have the best solution for how do you navigate this one problem, right? So you need to share that, and not just with people that are around you, but people beyond that. So all the learnings that you acquire from other people and all the experiences you acquire yourself, go spread them. And that's what TED is also all about. So that's the first lesson. Learn and also spread that knowledge with other people. That adds diversity not only to yourself, but also to the society that's around you. The second aspect I want to talk about is unsiloing of the siloed world. Okay? Since birth, we've been part of a very siloed environment. Let me give you an example. When you were born, you went to elementary school. You had 15 other students next to you. And your ultimate goal was to come first in that class. That's it, out of 15 people. And that's how you thought. And it made sense back then when you're like, okay, there's only 15 kids here, and that's all that matters. I'm an elementary school student. But then when you moved on to middle school, the same concepts applied. You have that one goal, come first amongst 30 students. These 30 students locally, right? And then you moved on to high school, the same aspect applied, same thing in university today. And it's not only in education that same aspect applies where you're focused on competing locally. You also, in extracurriculars, you're only compared against the 11 players that are on your team, right? Or even in a work setting, when you work at Google or Facebook or any of the firms, they'll be like, hey, who's the best engineer amongst these 5 engineers, right? But the world today has changed. It's not just about local competition. It's actually global competition. The world we live in today, a high school teacher from China can create the largest global e-commerce company, the same way how a Harvard student can create the largest social network in the world. The same way. But that's only possible if people think beyond their local competition. If I focus too much on my local competition, I would be sad and never move beyond. I'd be like, hey, I'm rank 180th and that's life, right? But the truth is, it's much more than that. So what I want to challenge you all is to stop thinking and worrying about these local competitions that are around you. Start thinking beyond them. The way I learned this was from a very funny source. When I was your age, I used to love to play video games. And for me, I was really good at them. But I was only good because I used to play with my 4 cousins, right? And I was like, oh, this is the best. I'm so good at this. I can't wait to play again and again and again and come first every day. But then what happened was, this thing happened where online gaming came. So I connected my Xbox to the online gaming world, and suddenly I realized that I sucked at that video game. I was so bad that kids half my age were twice as fast, halfway around the world, and didn't even speak a word of English, right? So I slowly realized, man, the arenas of the past are so small, with limited players. Today, the arenas are exactly that. It's the world. So stop, challenging yourself with the local competition, because what you'll do is you'll benchmark yourself with local, crowd. And then you'll never compete with people that are around the world. For example, how do you compete with a kid from London or Singapore or Boston, Toronto, or India? How do you know that? You don't. So stop worrying about all the stuff that's around you. Diversify your competition. Diversify and start thinking about how do you place against all the people around the world. For me, there's no pride in coming first out of 30 students. I would rather be top 1,000 out of 1 billion people. So start building that mentality into the way you live your everyday life. The third aspect I want to talk about is the whole aspect of pushing beyond the platform. All of us are lucky we have these platforms that are provided to us from day one. The same way, for example, initially it's schooling. Schools give you, like for example here, you have TEDxHKUST that gives you an amazing platform to learn and grow. Similarly, students all around the world have amazing platforms all around them that give them certain options that they can take. For example, you can take great courses and learn. You can attend and join extracurricular activities and learn, right, and grow. Similarly, you can have employers that come here to this platform, this university, and help you get a job, right? But just sticking within the platform is not good enough. The good thing about being humans, we always venture beyond these platforms. We always go and try something that's different, and that's how we improve, and that's how we grow. I mean, thousands of years, if humans did not change for the past 2,000 years, today we would all be really good farmers, and that's it, right? I would be giving you a talk on how to grow corn and how to grow rice. That's basically it. But then came a guy and he's like, oh man, I'm tired of growing corn, right? So he's like, I'm gonna go work on numbers. Then the field of maths and science came about. Then some guy was like, oh man, I'm tired of farming every day. I'm gonna build a machine that helps me farm faster. Engineering was born, right? This guy, oh man, I'm hurt farming. I need medical, right? And medics was born. So people always ventured beyond their, the thing that was the status quo. So in your life, you'll always have the status quo. Right now, you guys are students, and that's the platform. But one challenge that I have for all of you is diversify your experience. Step one, take one step out of the box and try something different. And initially, start with something that you're passionate about. For me, I'll give you an example. When I was your age, I was an aerospace engineer. I wasn't a very good aerospace engineer. I was actually an okay aerospace engineer. You didn't want me designing planes, right? But on the side, I started a photography business because I was so passionate about photography. It wasn't that I wanted to make money or anything. It just was a passion of mine. That's how I diversified and differentiated myself with my peers. Everybody was known as an engineer. I was known as an engineer who is also a photographer. So start doing that. Let's just say after this, you guys get a job at Facebook, for example. Don't just try to be the best engineer at Facebook, because there's no pride in that. Be a good engineer at Facebook, but at the same time, in your free time, come out of Facebook, help the local Hong Kong startup community, and help them grow and build their startups. People will like you even more that way. The last part I want to mention to you all is the aspect of failure. And I know a lot of people talk about failure, but with aspect of failure, everybody says, hey, when you fail, get up, keep on going, all that stuff, which is all true, right? But I think it's important to remind everyone of it and give you a slightly different angle to it. One thing I want to guarantee you all of you will fail in life. Not just once, many, many, many times. I have, right? And what's important is when you do fail, it's not right to just keep on doing the same thing again and again. When you do fail, what I would love for you guys to do is to challenge yourself and take a different approach the next time. Diversify that approach. If it didn't work this way, try it another way. If it doesn't work that way, keep on trying and keep on trying. And what's going to happen is two things. Either you'll reach the goal that you had originally envisioned, which is great, and that is success, or you'll come up with a totally different new goal. And that is also success, in my opinion. The only failure that exists in my books is when you fail and you stop and you walk back. So don't do that. Failure is part of life, and you all are going to be part of it. So before I end, I just want to mention, I would not be standing here if I did not go out, venture out, network, and meet other people and learn from their experiences while respecting their experiences. So do that. That's very, very important. I would not be standing here if I took all those experiences and did not share with other people. It is crucial that whatever you've learned, share it with other people. A lot of people can sometimes think about that from an aspect of competition. Oh, I don't want to give the cheat sheet to this person. They might, do well. The truth is, just because you've learned to go this far, if you train someone else to do that, I can guarantee you a lot of times they might even go further than you. And you should be proud of that. Don't think of it as competition. So go help others and share that knowledge. The third aspect is think beyond your local competition, right? Stop worrying about, oh, I'm only third in this class. Oh, I'm only 12th. I'm only 180th, right? All of those things are local competitions. You don't know what Steve Jobs' rank was, right, in college, but he did well. So think beyond your local competition. Start thinking globally about these things. At the same time, when you think about failure is always going to be there, right? And you got to just get used to it. And remember this, every aspect of your life, you will fail. And every moment, you'll fail. But remember, every moment that you fail, and each moment after that, gets you one step closer to your next moment of success. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate it.